You are now tuning into Hello Kopi Milo podcast episode 40 with Ryan Matjeraie, a co-writer of Harry Kok Siew Yok, and he also used to work at HITZ FM. Enjoy episode 40 of Hello Kopi Milo podcast with Ryan Matjeraie.
Okay, let's do this, man. Hello Kopi Milo podcast. Today we have Ryan
Matjeraie?
Matjeraie.
What's up, big man?
What's up?
Hello? Is anyone listening? Oh, swag.
All right. Damn, I am sitting right across a legend, man. Right across a legend, dude.
Wow. You're acting like you've never met me before. We work together, by the way, at Rockerfield. We see each other quite often, you know what I'm saying?
Dude, for those listeners who don't know who you are, how would you describe yourself, man? How would you describe yourself?
I've done my research on you. You always open with that question. I would describe myself as approachable. I would describe myself as resting. Am I allowed to swear in this podcast?
You can.
You're a bit of a man resting bitch face, but approachable.
Okay.
Obsessed with creativity, but also incredibly impatient.
Impatient?
Yeah, I'm really impatient.
In what sense, bro?
Bro, you should sit in the passenger seat of my car, driving down LDP or Federal Highway, and then you'll see my impatience.
How young are you, by the way?
I am. This is your second question.
A lot of research.
How young am I?
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people would look at my baby face,
Okay.
including you, by the way, and would assume I'm, 25, 26. Some people said 27, some 28. Someone joked the other day, "Oh, you're like 30 years old," thinking they were offending me. But turns out I'm actually 33.
Wow.
Before we go on even any further, by the way,
Okay.
if you're listening to this podcast, by the way, most podcasts are done in like a dark studio or some sort of like room or something. We're in a coffee shop right now. Me and Mylo are in a coffee shop right now enjoying really good coffee. Cheers, my man. This is the way to do a podcast, dude. Get out of the house, you know what I mean? Nice lighting for the video. Not a bad environment. So thanks, man. Thanks for inviting me.
Shout out to Sprezzatura Cafe, recently opened in Taman Tun, actually. They are very new
okay.
here. So they are coffee roasters.
Yeah.
Sprezzatura, they were based in PJ,
Okay.
and now they're here.
And we're both coffee lovers, so it makes sense.
Do you know that Taman Tun has like Melbourne-like cafes around the corner? Like crazy, man.
Yeah.
It's booming.
Not just around this area, but the other stretch of Taman Tun as well.
Yeah,
Some really
yeah,
nice
yeah.
coffee places as
Yeah.
well. Yeah, I've visited quite a few. I've visited quite a few because, like you, I love my coffee.
Yeah. What's your favorite cup of coffee?
It depends on my mood, man. Like sometimes I like it black. I
Okay.
know you like your coffee black,
Uh-huh.
but 9 times out of 10, I would go for a latte just because I find it. I guess I like the milk. I love the designs. I'm a terrible coffee maker. I know you're very skilled, but I finish a latte so quickly, man. So it must be a good thing. Yeah.
Oh, I mean that's a good thing, though, because you're supposed to enjoy your coffee while it's hot.
Yeah.
Because as it gets colder, it just loses its flavor, right?
But I drink it way too quickly, and then I order another one. I end up having four.
Would you consider yourself a Malaysian?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Do you grow up here?
I did. I was born in Ireland, but I grew up in Kuching, Sarawak. Tapi bro, I went to international school, so Melayu tak bagus lah bro. Which honestly very shameful. I am genuinely embarrassed that I can't speak Malay fluently.
I see the common thing about people who work. I don't know if it's like just by chance, but maybe you guys inspire one another. I don't know. But if you look at it, people who work in radio station, they somehow have a better creative outlet in the sense of videos, photography, and the side gigs that they have are pretty big. And then on the other hand, they have whatever they have in HITZ or Fly. Well, why do you think that that's the case though? Is it by chance or maybe they have the free time? I don't know.
Are you talking about?
I know, like Genie Boy, for example.
Okay,
right.
yeah.
And you yourself.
I really think it's quite subjective.
Subjective,
to be honest, because not every radio announcer is the most creative person in the world. I've met, and obviously I'm not going to say the names, but I've met a lot of lazy radio announcers.
Yeah.
People that took that job for granted, because it's an incredible job, man. Like you're on radio for 4 hours, and yes, people might think it's an easy job, but you're there for a few hours before that to prepare and prep your show, and then you go on air. But there's some announcers who work really hard, and there's some announcers who are so good at their job, but they're so lazy. Do you know what I mean? So it's really subjective. if you're talking specifically about people like Jimmy Boy, who were able to pursue a career in video, the guy had passion, man. I mean, I was there next to Jin when he first started Jimmy Boy TV. He uploaded his video outside the studio, his first ever video, and he got hundreds and thousands of hits. And he just kept going, and he had a passion for making video. He talked about it for so long. He showed me his cameras. He was really into that. So I think, I don't think the accessibility of having camera people at HITZ or anything like that helped him. He did it all on his own. And I think, with full respect to HITZ, they like to take credit for Jimmy Boy's success. I can safely say, being someone who's been closely associated with Jin in that moment, that although HITZ helped, it was all him.
Out of all the people you've interviewed, right?
Yeah.
Which one would have brought the most? Which one would be the most memorable interview? Like, I
For
don't know.
me or for the audience?
For you, like for example, you met all kinds of famous people, right? Because I did some research. People such as Hugh Jackman.
Yeah.
You met Hugh Jackman.
Yeah.
Like, who else do you meet? Like the famous ones.
Wow.
Like,
I'm going to be name dropping a lot in this podcast.
Yeah.
Jennifer Lawrence, Chris Pratt, Chris Evans, Anthony
Damn.
Mackie, Matt Damon, Ryan Reynolds, Blake Lively, Jack Black. What's her name? Scarlett Johansson. Yeah, the list goes on. I think my favorite, undoubtedly, and I get asked this question a lot, by the way. People always ask me, what's your favorite interview?
Oh yeah.
I would say Jack Black, hands down.
Jack Black.
Because I think if I had told me during my uni days that I was going to be doing an interview, and if you check out the interview, I'm doing a, what do you call the small guitar? Ukulele.
Yeah.
I'm doing a ukulele duet with him. If you had told the university teenage/early 20s version of me that I was going to be doing a ukulele duet with Jack Black, I would have gone crazy. Like, I was a huge fan of Tenacious D and Jack Black and stuff. So that was my favorite because it was the easiest. It was the easiest interview I've ever done. It was about 6 to 7 minutes long, and he wouldn't let me go. Like, he wanted to like hang out a little bit more, and because I brought him a sarong. He wanted me to teach him how to wear the sarong. So I ended up being behind Jack Black, folding a sarong, trying to roll it, show him how to put on the sarong and stuff. So that for me was such an easy interview because it was just on the fly. It was on the cuff, and I really enjoyed. He sang, I sang. Just check out the interview. www.uc.com/Ryan Matjeraie or R Matjeraie, I think.
All right.
My interview's up there. One of my favorites for sure. Jack Black. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Damn.
If you want to know a little story.
Okay, there's a story behind that.
Before, I was the first one out of the whole junket to interview him. So they sent me to the hotel room to interview him. I went there and no one was there. No one had arrived. 5 minutes later, a waitress comes with with a tray. And she says to me, "Where's Jack? Is this Jack Black's room?" I was like, "Yeah, I think so." She's like, "Oh, where do I put this?" I'm like, "I'm not sure. Just leave it here, I guess." He'd ordered room service, which was a big tray of fried chicken and a big jug of ice water. And I thought, that is classic Jack Black. 5 minutes later, he comes with one other person. He doesn't come with a whole entourage. He comes with one other person, and he walks into the room. Before he walks into the room, he looks at me, and he goes, "I bid you adieu."
Oh.
And he walks into the room, and he's just such everything that you see Jack Black in TV, interviews, talk shows, he's like that in real life. It's just incredible, yeah.
Chainsmokers.
Yes.
Did you actually met them
Well, yeah,
hang out with them and stuff? Where was that?
Sony Music sent me to Creamfields in Manchester. Creamfields is a festival there, to backstage at Creamfields to interview Chainsmokers. And yeah, the guys were really nice, and I spent about 10-15 minutes with them, and then interviewed them and talked to them and vlogged the entire thing because that was what was required of me. Although I don't like vlogging, I had to do it for that instance. And then they were really nice guys.
While you were at HITZ, have you always had this idea of wanting to create your original content?
Yeah.
Do you always have had that itch?
Yeah.
Because all your interviews, right, it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
Do you have a say in all those things?
Absolutely, it's 100% me.
100% you.
I have
like
to.
the ukulele and
Everything. Yeah.
It's always you.
It's 100% me. If it wasn't me, I don't know if I'd do it. You know what I mean? Because then I'll be doing someone else's questions, which I can't do. I used to do these interviews. I did a few of these interviews at first. They worked so well. My bosses at HITZ graciously trusted me. And then to a point where they let me do my thing. And then it became 100% me. Well, it's always been 100% me. But I did have to go to them for approval, say I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and then they give me a thumbs up, and they'd help me with some ideas. But essentially, the execution and the prep was all down to me. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. I get no sleep like the night before interview. People think like, oh, you go to LA or you go to London or where did I go? Taipei, Korea, Singapore, and you think it's a great holiday and you get to interview these stars. But honestly, man, I never slept before an interview. I went 24 hours without sleeping because I was so focused on my interview. I practiced and I rehearsed in front of a mirror so hard. I worked so hard on those interviews. Those interviews may look very natural to you and oh, this guy knows what he's doing. Honestly, I don't know what I'm doing. I am just so prepped and so rehearsed that I anticipate the answers so well that I go with it, kind of thing. If you like, yeah, it's just me, I guess. I'm not sure if I can't say every creator goes through this, but yeah, I'm very insecure about my content.
Yeah.
I sometimes I need to show people my work before I upload it, just to ask, is this lame? Is this not working, kind of thing? Which is a good and bad thing. Sometimes I do wish I didn't care as much, but that's something I'm kind of like dealing with at the moment. Yeah.
Okay. HITZ FM.
Yeah.
What was your most memorable lesson that you learned from HITZ?
Memorable lesson to learn from HITZ.
Yeah.
I think the thing I remember most, or I cherish most about my time there, was probably the people. People still ask me, do I miss radio and do I miss working there? And I always say I don't miss the work, I miss the people, kind of thing. Because that's I left because I didn't want to do that kind of work anymore. I feel like I exhausted all my ideas being there. I feel like I wanted to do creative stuff outside of radio because I was doing all my energy into that, putting all my energy into that, but I wanted to put my energy elsewhere. So, yeah, I think the people mainly. I made so many good friends. They were like a family over at HITZ, and I cherish those moments the most, I think.
Yeah. How was your day in life like back then when you were at HITZ FM? So you mentioned you work at night, right?
Yeah.
So how late do you? Is it like a normal human routine, or do you have like something else laid out for you?
It changes every day. I also hosted a show called the Malaysian English Top 10, Met 10, and that was on Wednesday. On Friday, we'd be there for a 12 o'clock meeting. So different days, I'd have different things on. I'd script write as well. I'd prep for my show, which I worked really hard on, so that would take me a few hours. And
This was like that show?
Yeah.
The Malaysian top?
Yeah, that one, and also my night show, which was from 8 p.m. to midnight.
Okay. The one that HITZ
Yeah.
on radio show, okay.
And then I also did MC gigs as well, and I did videos as well here and there. So I was kept pretty busy in and outside radio. Yeah.
Okay, so you've been doing a lot for a very long time, I
Yeah.
suppose, right? Have you ever had that moment in your life, like when you are doing so much and you feel overwhelmed?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, is that often? And how do you actually overcome that? Or is it like, do you sink it in, or do you overcome it? Do you go through it, or will it just pass by?
It passes by.
Okay.
It's never gotten to a point where it all falls apart. Like, you know, you've got to have your. I mean, you know what you're getting into by coming into this industry. Sometimes it does get overwhelming, and I think that the moment that it got too much for me. Yeah, thanks, bro. Sorry, if you're listening,
bro.
coffee just arrived.
Yeah, you're Hilmi, right? Yeah, Mylo. Yeah, I was in competition with him, dude. Aeropress. Coffee.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Sorry, Milo's just having a catch-up moment right now. If you're just listening. So what were you asking? Oh yeah. But there was one moment I think at HITZ where it really got too much for me, and that was doing the HITZ FM morning crew. I can't remember what year, but JJ and Ian, who I think people would argue that they are household names when it comes to breakfast radio, at least when I was younger. And we were given the task, me and Ginny Boy, were given the task and burden, I would say, to take over their show. So we were the new morning crew. And I did that for 8 months, and I never really got asked, do you want to do the morning crew and take over? I got told to do it, do you know what I mean? So it was a very, and you have to take one for the team, you know what I mean? You have to It is your job, you know? But it's very hard, man, doing a 6 a.m. show until 10. and you can't really half-ass it. Or I mean, you can, but I chose not to, and that got a bit too much. Waking up at 4 a.m. every morning, and I used to fall asleep in driving, and I'd have accidents. And I also did a TV show on the weekend, so it was just like it was so much for me at the time. And then eventually I got kicked out of the morning crew, which was great because Ian, who is now back on HITZ FM, came back to the morning show, and I moved up to the night show, and I was the happiest man alive.
So you don't get a pay raise for going in the morning. It's the same thing. It's like you're sort of doing the same. Because the responsibility is different, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
So you get raised, right?
You get raised,
of course, right?
Yeah, it's the big show on radio, morning. Yeah. So you definitely get raised. I mean, they get paid more than, say, the nighttime show, the afternoon show. You're supposed to be the stars of radio on the morning crew, the face of the radio station. So inevitably you're gonna get paid more.
How long were you doing that?
8 months.
8 months.
8 months.
Shit, that's a workout, man.
That was a pretty crazy 8 months, losing weight, everything, and I mean, I'm already quite skinny, but back then I was just unhealthy and all that. So once I got out of that, I was just really happy because that was a pretty tough period right there. I mean, I'm extremely grateful for the opportunity. Shout out to his opportunity. But fuck, I hated it.
Do you think like the morning crew is like a platform for the radio hosts to actually put themselves out there? Like you by default, your popularity sort of kicked like crazy to the roof, right?
Absolutely.
Like Genie Boy, I don't know, back in the day,
JJ, Rudy, Little Kev, Fly Guy. Yeah, I mean,
everyone like gets their name by being on that show, right?
Yeah, I mean, some people would argue now that it's not so much the case because, as we know, media is changing and the landscape is changing. TV or radio, they're not quite as relevant as they used to be because they used to be like the forefront of entertainment. Now we have Spotify, YouTube, and stuff. So some people would argue that being on the radio isn't quite, you don't quite have the household name. But if you're talented and you're on radio, people want to know you. Like you, yeah. That's why people like Ian Nashrin is such a great radio announcer. And because he's genuinely a very, very talented guy. Yeah.
What do you think makes you guys stand out? Is that a preparation? Apart from preparation, I would say. Yeah.
Oh, there's so many factors that goes into it. Some people would say voice. I would disagree. I don't think you need the voice to be on radio.
Okay.
Although some people can be annoyed by certain voices if you have a high-pitched voice. But it's down to your personality, 100%. That's what it is. If you have a personality that resonates with other people and you use it to your advantage, then you'll go far, I think. Yeah. If you don't, you're not meant for this, and you're a little bit scared of what's the word? You're a little bit enclosed, I guess, and you're not quite outgoing and all that. Then eventually people will see that. So it's down to your personality, I think, first and foremost.
Okay. Yeah. Right. And then while you were at HITZ, you had this moment where you had the spark of an idea trying to create your own thing, right?
Yeah.
What made you took the leap of faith, like from like quitting HITZ and actually doing your own thing?
It was more of
this was like last May, right? So you quit in May.
Yeah.
Have you give it a real thought like for a few years, or is it like?
Yeah, I've given a thought for a few years.
Okay.
I still love radio. I wouldn't mind doing it part time in a small sense, but because it is a cool like avenue to get like creative and stuff like that. But undoubtedly, like I said, the landscape is changing, and I was noticing over the past few years that if you really want to get your creative ideas out there, I don't want to spend it anymore on doing a 30-second talk set that's going to go out on radio and never be heard ever again. I'd rather put my energy, thoughts, my everything, my creative aspirations and earnest thoughts into a YouTube clip or an Instagram clip, which is more like it stays there. People can always see it, and you can resonate with a new audience, which you can't really get on radio. I feel to a certain extent. Although radio was great, man. Like I used to have callers every night, regulars, and people come up to me all the time and say, "Oh, I listen to your show all the time," or "I really like what you do," or "I loved your talk set." Like, that's cool, but that only lasted for a while because you can never hear it again. Or whereas YouTube and Instagram is more concrete. Man, I had to do it. I had to leave radio to at least experience that. Yeah.
Because like knowing from what you have told me about yourself, right? You think a lot and you over prepare for one thing.
Yeah.
So probably before you had this idea of whatever you wanted to do, this content creating that you wanted to pursue, you probably have debated like many times whether you would do it or not. Am I right or wrong?
Absolutely. I mean, I've been told by everyone that I overthink.
Yeah.
I think too much and all that, and I think that sometimes works against me and also works in my favor sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah. Who gave you the push? I guess like who pushed you to take that step forward, like to just make the jump.
I can't say one person did.
You actually asked a lot of people, I guess.
Just observations, I guess, of the scene, of people, of in Malaysia, outside of Malaysia, seeing what they did. That inspired me. I like being inspired, and I'm sure you do as well. And I think when that kind of builds up in you, there's no other person that pushes you except yourself, I guess. So I set the bar so high for myself. And I think every creator should kind of do that. Yeah.
Okay, so you're more connected with Malaysia, you mentioned, right? Is that the reason why you choose to create content that revolves around Malaysia? Why not? I mean, I'm just curious. Like, if you could actually potentially be out there, right? Reach globally and actually create something like English speaking, like English platform, right?
Yeah.
Why would you choose to actually create something here and stay back here and?
A lot of people ask me that question.
Yeah, what was the inspiration? What was your idea? What was your thought process like?
I honestly, a lot of people ask me that, like, why don't you live in Australia and do this? Why don't you live in America and do this? I mean, the English market's so small here, you could do better there and all that. And my honest answer is, I don't think I would.
It's your intuition, I guess.
Intuition, yeah. I'm quite scared. I have a dream that one day I'll move to New York City, or at least go there for like 1 year and just meet creators there and do stuff with creators there and create my own stuff there. But I don't have the luxury that I have here, and that is a bunch of things. Family, it's financial security. It's I just feel like if I leave all this behind and go to New York City, I would jeopardize everything I've built and done over the last couple of years, and it's just scared. I'm honestly the biggest voice, man. I should fucking go there and go out and do stuff, but instead I stay here and work on my own projects.
I guess it's a process, right? Maybe one day you might just find yourself. Maybe it's time. Just like HITZ. Yeah. It's like HITZ. Just like music. It's like Australia. It's like coming back here. Maybe it's timing. Yeah. But I really see that you have the ticket. You have the ticket to actually put one foot forward and just make that leap. It's the same process from one whatever situation that you're going through and to another, and this is another one, because I see I think that's the next thing for you, man. Like, for sure.
Wow. Yeah, well, thanks, man. But I really don't know. I wish I could tell you, yes, it's going to happen, but I really don't know. My plan was always to move to Singapore at some point.
Singapore? Why so?
I just thought before I moved to Malaysia, back home to Malaysia, when I lived in Australia, I thought Singapore was the hub for creativity and content and TV stations and all that. But no, I think Malaysia's also got a great scene as well. They're two different scenes. I don't know the Singapore scene as well, but I'm happy here for now, I guess. Yeah, to go with that. By the way, we can talk about my projects. At Rockefeller, the company we work for, I'm a writer for that. In case you're wondering or holding back,
Shout out to Rockefeller.
We've been talking a lot about what I've left radio and I'm doing projects. We haven't mentioned it in projects, so a lot of people wonder what I do now. Like, what does this guy from radio do?
I mean, most of your circle of friends probably would know.
Yeah, so I can say it quite safely. I'm a writer, and I also direct some of Harry Kok Siew Yok videos. This puppet. Before you ask me, I'm not the voice. I'm not a lot of people think, I'm going to ask me if am I the voice. Obviously, I can't do a voice or an accent like that, but that's probably my main project at the moment, Harry Kok Siew Yok, the puppet. Check him out on Instagram and all that. He's, so the creator of Harry Kok and me work together on the content. Obviously, he, the creator, who obviously wants to remain anonymous, he's obviously the owner, he does his thing, but I help him out as much as I can, and I think we do 50-50 amount of content stuff. Yeah.
So how is the writing process like? Writing for
Bro, it's I tell you what, it's fun. It's pretty fun writing for a Malaysian puppet who says he calls himself I'm the Malaysian. That's my I love the Malaysian humor. And when I have like Malaysian ideas in terms of creative Malaysian ideas, I funnel it through this puppet because he is the Malaysian and he does Malaysian humor, jokes, videos, and all that. So my thought process is me just have as much fun as possible and relate back to Malaysians as much as possible. Yeah.
How do you actually get ideas, man?
Bro,
From
but-
what I see, like it's all
Yeah.
fresh, dude.
Thank you, man.
And I'm sure you are aware of that, and I'm sure you want it to be fresh.
Yeah.
You're conscious about
Absolutely,
the
yeah.
whole thing, and
Fresh, original.
yeah,
All that
and
sort
I
of
gotta
stuff.
compliment you on that, dude.
Thank you, man. I'm very talented. I know. I'm just kidding. No, a lot of people just see the final videos, and they think, oh, this guy's creative or we're creative. But I can't tell you how much struggle there is to come up with ideas. I'm going through that as we speak. Today, you asked me, how are you? How's your day? I said, not very productive, because sometimes I sit on a laptop and I try write ideas and nothing comes through. You know what I mean? What's my process? It changes every time. There's no one process that ever works. If someone has a process or idea that works, please get in touch with me, because I don't know that process. You asked me, do I write it down sometimes? Do I brainstorm, or do I look at other videos? All the above. I do everything to try and inspire myself to get me ideas. I've got so many heroes who I look up to, and I look at their content, and I never try to copy them, but I always, if anything, what they inspire me to do is be myself, or be true to our content as much as possible. And that's what we try to do with Harry Kok Siew Yok. But I'm going to be honest with you, I work so hard on Harry Kok Siew Yok. I feel like this year I want to take a step back and really work on my own thing. So hopefully this is the year that happens. Yeah.
Okay, so Harry Kok Siew Yok, like the whole, what's the most challenging part of actually writing for Harry?
Most challenging part of writing for Harry? I don't think it's just for Harry, just for anyone, for just writing in general. Like, the struggles are what I told you. Like, sometimes you just get ideas off the cuff. Sometimes I get ideas in the shower. Sometimes I get ideas when I'm falling asleep at night in bed. And sometimes I get an idea. I got an idea the other day, a really great idea for a new video that Harry that's coming out tomorrow. Whilst I was driving at Sri Hatamas traffic light, I got an idea. And I wrote it down on my phone. Don't use your phone and drive. It was, while I was stagnant. Traffic light. I got an idea. I wrote it on my phone. And then as soon as I got to my destination, I elaborated on the idea. And then the next day, I took that idea, and I that's all you need, man. It's like a great premise idea, and then you work from there, kind of thing. And if I can give an advice to any creator, whether it be you or anyone, remember that every piece of content idea that you have always has to have a high point at the end. So you do a video, great content, but the high point at the end, whether it be a cliffhanger or a one-liner or something, but the end of the video, I think, is one of the most important parts of any piece of content, because that's the aftertaste you get from watching a video. That's what you remember it's what makes you feel good after you watch a video. Yeah.
Okay. If you could actually make any films, what kind of genre would best suit your style, you think?
I have to say
Comedy?
I'd have to say comedy.
Comedy, yeah.
Even though I'm not particularly a funny guy in person, and you know this, anyone that meets me, I'm not particularly a funny guy, but I write funny stuff, I guess. So I would have to lean towards there, but to be honest, I would never say no to anything at the moment. I wouldn't mind trying anything, yeah. I've always loved Chris Nolan movies. His stuff, some of the most epic things I've ever seen. So Edgar Wright as well, amazing transitions. And he dives into comedy and a little bit of everything. So yeah, I would like to try everything, I think. Yeah.
Are you familiar with Casey Neistat?
Absolutely.
Absolutely, right?
Absolutely,
okay,
yeah.
So Casey Neistat has this big philosophy on ideas are cheap.
Yeah.
Execution is everything, right?
Yeah.
So we all who call ourselves creative, be it in KL, the world, wherever,
Yeah.
have like fresh ideas.
Yeah.
But the difference between someone successful and someone who's actually only dreaming is a difference of like differentiation are the actions, right? So what would your advice be for someone who has so much ideas but they don't really know how to actually put it on a paper, they don't really know how to make, create and express? What would you say to them, man?
What you just described is you're describing a huge population out there. There are so many people who are they want to do something, whether they have an idea or they just the urge to do it, or the dream or aspiration of doing it, and they just don't do it.
Yeah.
You know, they just keep quiet. And my advice for how to do it is to just do it. Honestly, that's the difference between you being where you are from where you want to be. Is just the act of doing it, because you're not going to be good when you first begin. I wasn't good when I first started on the radio. I was terrible when I first started on TV. I was really bad at writing content and doing videos at first, and probably still am. Have I reached my destination or goal or where I want to be? 100% no. So it's always a journey. So years ago I was talking to Elizabeth Tan, obviously the former ukulele singer songwriter turned Malay actress of some sort. Who knows what she does now? Turned Instagram influencer. But anyway, she told me. I asked her once. I'm like, "What made you just start it? Get into it?" She's like, "Because I just did it. I just went and did it. I wanted to do it for a while, but I didn't want to do it, and then I just did it. And then now, obviously, she is where she is. So she's just one story of many people out there. You know what I mean? So just do it, man. Whatever you're thinking, just drop it and just do it. And by the way, that's what I'm going through right now. I've got so many fucking ideas, man, but I'm not doing it. Why? Because I have this insecurity that it won't be good and all that. But honestly, man, you just have to do it. Honestly, yeah.
Yeah, but I think, I don't know if it's fair for me to say, but it's important for us to actually be self-aware and know what we're good at, because like we want, everyone wants to be the star, everyone wants to be the face of the magazine cover, everyone wants to be the front man of a band, right? But do you think like we should know ourselves to actually fit whatever role that we want to pursue, or everyone should be a star, everyone should be like Kurt Cobain of the band, like just go for it, just do it? Or do you have to self-analyze and understand yourself, your goal, your priorities?
I wouldn't say, self-analyze. People are doing that all the time anyway.
Okay.
You analyze yourself all the time. You be self-aware. I guess we're all different, man. We all have our strengths and weaknesses. You know what I mean? If you want to be the next, if you want to be a YouTube star, then try do it. If you fail at it, at least you tried and you failed at it. You know what I mean? And then go into something else, and then maybe you'll be amazing at that. Like, you don't know what your strengths and weaknesses are until you try it, kind of thing. You know what I mean? Just at least you try doing it. Also, one thing that's quite important is you might be terrible at it, but you will get better the more you do something. You know what I mean? I've met some amazingly talented people, and some of the most people I look up to honestly think they're not that great, because they're not complacent. You know what I mean? They don't think they're the best at it. They're still learning and stuff like that. So everyone's going to think they're bad at something. Everyone's going to be self-aware. Everyone's going to be insecure. Everyone's going to have doubts. But it's about how you control that, and then how you execute what you need to execute to get where you want to be.
Yeah. Honestly, man, I'm not actually just saying this, man. You're really an inspiration, dude, because I can relate to the amount of hard work that you've put in. It's not so much of your success stories, it's because I see behind the scene, and I understand how much, like I told you this in person, right? How much effort you've put into the script, and then you had to show up, and then you had to make sure that all the cameramans and all the lightings are alright, because you know everything, because you are the jack of all trades. And you sort of know everything, but you just can't do everything because you need to focus on what's actually important, right?
Yeah.
And I find that that's a big inspiration. But how do you actually stop yourself from not overwork, not over splurging your energy? Because you want to do everything, right? Because you want to edit, you want to publish the video tomorrow because you shot it today. You want to publish it tomorrow. You gotta edit it, and you gotta make sure the music is alright. You gotta record the voice or audio, sync everything in, make sure. Yeah, how do you begin to actually start? Because like thinking of all that, people get discouraged.
Yeah.
Oh man, there's so much, because most of the people who want us to create are afraid of being mediocre, are afraid of being.
I have the same fears. I have the same fears.
They don't want. They don't want to be average or looked bad in the eyes of other creatives, right? So they don't even want to start because I'm not good at it. They label themselves as, oh, I'm not good, whereas inside they know they want to be a singer, but they just don't do it because they feel ashamed, because they're not perfect, Like you yourself, how do you break that, How do you actually stop yourself from not starting?
It's just, I think it really is just motivating yourself. You know what I mean? The only difference, in the words of people like Casey Neistat, the only difference between where you are here and where you want to be, honestly, is there's no rocket science behind it. It's work. It's work. That's what you have to do. There's no easy answer. There's no, with the exception of certain people out there, who are lucky. There is just no secret to it other than just do the hard work, man. Everyone wants the quick answer. How do I become the next Casey Neistat? How do I become the next Ginny Boy TV? But they don't know that there's years of work behind that. Do you know what I mean? That they've done, that I'm still doing. And in no way do I feel like I'm accomplished. I am so far from where I want to be. You know what I mean? I'm still in that process. It's quite strange for people to call me an inspiration, because when I feel like I'm nowhere at the moment. You know what I mean? Which is a good thing, because you don't want to be complacent and think, you know what, I can sit back. I've achieved all I need to achieve. Like, there's just so much I want to do, and I'm sure there's so much you want to do in the world. But there's no easy way except the work. You really just have to put in the work there. And I wish there was an easier way. I wish I could tell you a success story that was the secret ingredients to it, but there's no way of doing it other than, sleeping 6 hours a day. Once you get home from work, you have like 2 hours free time. Go on YouTube and learn every tutorial video about something that you want to do. There's so much that I want to do and learn, and there's not enough hours in the day. So you honestly just have to sit down and do it. And take that time. You know what I mean? And trust me, man, we live in a society right now in Malaysia, and I'm not putting down Malaysia at all, but there's a lot of lazy people around us. So it's not hard to flourish here, because there are so many lazy people. I'm not calling Malaysia in general. There's a lot around me, and I'm sure around you, there are lazy people. All you need to do is work harder than those motherfuckers. Work harder than any motherfucker around you. And I promise you do that for 2 years, or even sometimes for 1 year straight. Work harder than any guy around you or any girl around you, and I promise you the rewards will start to come through. Just like going to the gym, man. There's no easy way except picking up weights.
Just to sidetrack a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Do you think like the 5 person you're closest with matters? Like, does that even matter to your success? Do you think by like just so happen that one of your friends are really lazy, right? Or maybe a cynical person?
Yeah.
How do you should you change that environment? Will that affect you as a person, or will that affect a person to be slightly more motivated just because like hanging around you, for example? Then are you aware of that? Do you choose your friends, your 5 circle of friends?
I try not to I try not to mix the two together too much.
Okay.
Obviously, if you can find 5 people around you who inspire you every day, who work just as hard as you, man, that would be a dream. And I would love to work in that kind of environment every day, you know what I mean? And it does happen. I know a lot of people who have that kind of thing but that's hard to find. It's hard to find people who have the same vision as you, who want to do the same things that you want to do. But that's where we're all different, do you know what I mean? And that's where, but then again, if you want to rely on friends and people around you to inspire you, then there's something wrong. You know what I mean? You need to be able to inspire yourself to do the work, don't rely on anyone else other than yourself.
So it doesn't really matter, like the 5 closest person around you, it doesn't really matter.
I would say it matters if it's there, but if it isn't, it shouldn't hold you back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So like YouTube collaborators, right? Like such as Harvin.
Yeah.
For example, how did
Harvin
all
Skin,
of that? Yeah, Harvin Skin. How did it all get started?
How did my collaboration with Harvin Skin start? I met Harvin years ago when I interviewed him for the Malaysian English Top 10, but we started working together when...
What is the Malaysian English Top 10, by the way?
You've never heard of it? Nah, it's just a radio show that promotes local music. It's a countdown chart show that promotes local music.
So Harvin makes music.
He does. He makes
parody.
I mean, he's made parodies before, but he also makes a few of his own originals as well. And he used to be an artist. Yeah, he used to do a bit of R&B or hip hop or something. I think he still does. That's when I first met him. That was years ago, though, and I did not like the guy. I did not like him at all. He's a lot younger than I am. But in recent years, we met again when he came on as a guest on my show, and we both have content ideas, and we both want to do well. Do you know what I mean? I think his definition of success is a bit different from mine. His is all outs, be out there, change the game. Mine is I'm kind of a bit more happy being behind the scenes, writing great content. Although I do want to do my own thing soon, but I want to have I just have a different style than him. His is a bit more out there. He's got a very huge, loyal fan base. Do you know what I mean? So we're so different, but we have like similar goals, I think, in terms of wanting to do great content. So that's how we started working together. Although we're both so different and busy doing our own thing that we don't work together as much as we probably want to. But it could change in the future.
Yeah, believe it or not, that listeners who are actually listening to this actually revolves around the creatives who actually aspires to be content creator. You know, like who wants to create their own thing. Do you think it's important to put your own personality in the content that you create? Like, for example, you want to be a YouTuber, right?
Yeah.
Is it important to actually put yourself out there? Like what Harvin is saying, or is that not really?
Depends on the type of creator you are. But I think it's inevitable. Your personality will always come across. I think when you're out there in front of the camera, in some way, shape, or form, your personality will have to come across. You know what I mean? Unless you're like reviewing a phone or something. But even then, your personality is still showcased there because you're different from the next guy and the next odd person. So you need to, your personality will come into the forefront, I think.
What is your most favorite YouTuber from the United States?
From the United States? Changes all the time, but I really like David Dobrik. Have you heard of David Dobrik?
Yeah, the one that's like close to Casey, right?
Yeah. I think it's a new genre of vlogs, and he has like a great ensemble of friends, characters. You want to talk about 5 people? I mean, there's David Dobrik. Look at his gang of friends. They're all creators. They're all hilarious, and they all do big, loud things. I think he's redefined a certain genre of vlogging.
But you're not really into vlogging.
I was for a while. I mean, I wanted to do it.
Oh, you wanted?
I wanted to do daily vlogging. I wanted to do something. I still don't know what I want to do, but I will be doing something this year, but I don't know what yet. But
definitely revolves around you, like you as in Ryan.
Yeah. I still don't know. It might be street interviews. It might be. It might just be one-off videos here and there. It might be a desk show style. I don't know yet. I'm still working on it. Still working on it. I gotta come up with something original. Do you know what I mean? So it's just never been done before, at least in Malaysia. So that's what I'm aiming for.
Okay. What would be your secret to actually finding ideas? So like finding them. Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Like, do you try to like seek something from somewhere else?
Yeah.
Like try to make it like as random as possible. That's where you seek inspiration from. Like, where is your main source of inspiration?
I think like, who are some of your favorite YouTubers, or like what's your favorite shows or like TV shows?
Black Mirror.
Take Black Mirror and then find out why that's your favorite show. Why is it different from everything else?
Okay.
What is it about the content that makes that show resonate with you more than any other show? And then apply that to the content that you do and make that resonate with first yourself. You have to like the content that you produce. And then take that and then go to another TV show or another YouTube and say, why do I like that? And then try and take pieces from there. You know what I mean? Like, don't ever copy anything like straight up, but take little pieces from everything, and if you do that and you practice and create content yourself, within time you'll find your voice. Obviously, when you first start out, you're gonna be copying something else. I think that's just quite natural. Like, if I'm a Casey Neistat lover, my work is gonna look like him for the first 3 to 6 months because he's my main inspiration, for example. And I think eventually you'll find your own voice. You'll find your own like perception, because your perception of what is good is always changing, and then eventually. It'll be completely you, and that's when you hit the ground running. I don't know what I'm saying right now.
I feel you, man. It's totally 100% relatable and legit. It's a legit answer, dude. It's actually you're the Gandhi of content creating in Malaysia, man.
Dude, like, honestly, I am hell not the Gandhi of anything right now. There are so many more successful content creators out there than me. And I'm not afraid to say that, you know what I mean? Like, I have a long way to go. In fact, for anyone who's seeing me for the first time, they're probably wondering, who the fuck is this guy and what is he doing on a podcast? Like, but hopefully within time I'll have my own content. But at the moment, it's just not there, but hopefully soon.
Yeah. You also recorded, you helped Harry Kok wrote the song for him, the one that featured Young Raja.
I'm the Malaysian.
I'm the Malaysian. Yeah.
Yeah.
How did the whole idea came about, and how was the process like recording the music?
Yeah.
The whole music video shoot. Was it like music first, or the whole production planning from the
So
start?
the creator of Harry Kok, obviously we sat down and we knew we had to make a song, like a first single for Harry Kok. And then I know Darren Ashley from my time working at HITZ, and over the years I've seen him out, and I just thought there was no better person than him. So I sat down.
He's a producer, I guess.
Sorry?
Producer?
Yeah,
Darren Ashley.
and a great musician as well. Check out Darren Ashley, of course, if you haven't heard of him. I sat down with him, me and the creator of Harry Kok, who wants to remain anonymous, by the way. Me and the creator of Harry Kok Siew Yok. Sat down with Darren Ashley at Coffee Bean in Bangsa. Shout out to Bangsa, shout out to Coffee Bean, a lot of name droppings. And we sat down with him on a Friday, I think, and said we wanted to make a song. And he was completely down. He's like, yeah, let's do it. On Monday, he sends us 4 demos, 4 1-minute demos.
Of beats.
Of beats. Each and every single one of them is amazing. It's just so good. So we had to choose one which was best for Harry Kok Siew Yok. So we chose one. And then he said, you guys need to come up with lyrics or a melody. In that same day, the creator and the voice of Harry Kok Siew Yok made it and voice noted it to Darren Ashley. That weekend, he sent the whole song, and we changed a few things here and there. A week later, we went in and recorded, and then we had the full-fledged song. We just needed a guest rapper. And we had a few people in mind, but it came down to Young Raja. We did Young Raja, in case you don't know, was a Singaporean. Shout out to him as well. A Singaporean upcoming rapper. He was probably the most talked about rapper at the time, so it fit in very nicely. He graciously said yes. He recorded it in one day in Singapore, sent it back to us via email. That weekend, Rocket Fuel, the company that we both work for, graciously paid for flight and accommodation for Young Raja to come to Malaysia. We shot the video, his parts in one day, and then we did the rest of the music video. And on Malaysia Day, which is May 16th, I think, May 12th, I can't remember. Sorry, we released the music video and 500,000 views, which is good. So now every year on Malaysia Day, so I'm getting exclusive news here.
September 16th, by the way.
September 16th. Okay, cool. September 16th every year, Harry Kok Siew Yok, the puppet, will be releasing a song.
Wow.
Yeah. So this
Shit.
year we're already in plans to release a song and stuff. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Harry Kok, you're going big. Very fast.
I don't know about that, but yeah.
Okay, let's see. Inspiration. What's your deepest fear, man?
My deepest fear? To do with creativity or just in life?
Anything at all, yeah.
Obviously, I'll try not to get too morbid, so I won't talk about life. But the biggest fear in the industry that I work for, probably not being able to do what I do anymore. You know what I mean? That's one thing we all have to realize. And this is a good motivation to why you should be fucking killing it right now and working hard. It's gonna come a time where we're not gonna be able to do this anymore.
In what sense, bro?
Huh?
What do you mean? Like, you mean
We're
old age?
gonna be old. We're gonna have walking sticks. We're not going to be as quick as minded as we are. But right now we are well. We've got our health. This is the time to do it. People used to make excuses back in the day. Oh, cameras is too expensive. I can't afford it. I can't do this. You have a mobile phone now. You can create content that way. You can record anything. Anyone can record content. This pretty much is a time. We're living in an age right now where you have no excuses to create and do something, creatively. Yet, I swear to God, you find more people now coming with more excuses not to do something. So you really just have to do it right now. You've got, honestly, no excuses, including myself.
Yeah. You know, like you actually went through the process of leaving your full-time job to actually create your own, like live your own passion, doing what you love. What would your advice be for someone who has a full-time job and wants to do it full-time, or have the dream to actually do something full-time?
Yeah.
Do you actually make the jump, or think it through, plan it better, or
Yeah, it comes down to time management. Like what I said, like
the 2 hours squeeze in time to actually
wake up early. Don't wake up at 8 anymore. Wake up at 6 and use those 2 hours to search something or reference or edit or something. You know what I mean? Spend 2 hours at night before you go to sleep. Instead of going to sleep, why not stay up 2 hours? I know it's tiring, but stay up for those 2 more hours, and then you'll see that build. On aggregate, you'll get better and better on whatever you're doing because you're doing more of it. And that is a secret to being good at something, is doing more of it. So try and find the time and hours in a day to do it. Maybe don't Netflix and chill so much, but take that time to do something productive,
So-
learn something. Yeah,
The more you do, the better you get, right?
absolutely. Yeah, and you know this as well. You go on YouTube right now. There is a tutorial for anything right now. If you want to be able to make a Chris Nolan film or film like Casey Neistat or do this unbelievable I don't know effect. Like it's all there for you to learn, and that's one thing as a creator that you should be doing every day, and you should set for yourself every day is to learn something new every day. And once you learn something new every day, you already are better than what you were yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I
it's
think
a
that's
whirlpool of knowledge, man. YouTube.
absolutely yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. Don't you love that feeling of learning something and then being able to do something new? Yeah, that's a great feeling. Yeah.
Yeah, you were once upon a time the jack of all trades. You mentioned like doing everything all at once, right? Would that be an advice for someone who's actually a creative to actually stop focusing on too many things and focus on a niche? Is that a legit advice, or you think just go with it, whatever suits, whatever is your cup of tea?
I think once you do something, you're gonna get better at it. So if you try to learn everything and then that kind of fails, that's fine. I forget things all the time. I always have to go back and learn something, relearn something again and again. And then once I do it again and again and again, I get more at it. And then perhaps this thing that I used to do, I don't do as much anymore, and I forget how to do that. So I think it's fine to turn your attention onto something else, as long as you just keep going. Keep going.
Okay, so that means it's okay to be a jack of all trades, because you might find yourself getting distracted though, like not being able to focus on one task. Let's say you're a music guy, right? And then you want to do your own videos, and at the same time you want to go on a holiday, and then you also want to spend time with your family,
Yeah.
and then you want to do this and do that, but you're not the kind of guy who gives excuse, but you end up doing everything. But it's just you're doing everything, and everything is scattered all over, and you just have a mind like a scattered brain, you know, and you can't really focus, and you crash and burn, right? So to avoid going to that point, does someone need to find a niche, or it's okay to do that?
I think once you do something, you find out if you like doing it. You know, I truly believe that if you enjoy doing something, it won't feel like it's work. So once you will start to enjoy it, and it's all about enjoying something. And if you're not enjoying something, you're doing something so much that you're not enjoying it, then it's not worth doing. You know what I mean? If you're trying to be, for example, a YouTube star, but you don't enjoy doing the work, maybe you shouldn't do it, man. Maybe you should go do something you actually enjoy. So be the jack of all trades. Sure, try stuff. And if you don't enjoy it, don't do it. But prioritize what makes you happy the most. Because I think life is short, and there's no point doing something if you're not happy. You know what I mean? And if you want to do something that you know will make you happy, then just do it and try and do everything that you can to make sure that happens. Yeah.
Okay. If you could have a cup of coffee with any dead musician from the past, who would it be and why?
Any musician.
Any dead musician.
Man, this is so bad. I'm so bad at these kind of questions. Being put on the spot. Man, this is so difficult. I can't help it but probably give lame answers.
Bob Dylan is still alive, by the way.
Sorry?
Bob Dylan is still alive, by the way.
Thank you, man. That doesn't change my answer. It would have to be someone now. I couldn't go in the past.
You kind of have to, though. It has to be someone who already died.
Oh, you said someone that's died.
Yeah, a dead musician, yeah.
Oh, okay. I would have to say
Anyone, man.
maybe Kurt Cobain. Maybe Kurt Cobain. I don't know if that's a good answer or not. But the guy was... One thing I love about Kurt Cobain is that he wasn't afraid to be himself. And that is at the heart of what you should be. That's at the heart of what you should be in every way. Is don't ever try and be someone you're not, because whatever you're trying to be, I guarantee you there's a person out there that's doing a better version of that because they're being true to themselves. Kurt Cobain is like the definition of someone who just does not give a fuck. You know what I mean? Just did it the way he wanted and reaped the rewards by doing so, and without trying in some ways. But he did try, obviously. He would be a cool person. There's probably so much going on in there. I would love to find out what was going on in his head. You know what I mean? And sit down with him. His guitar riffs are not hard, man. He wasn't the best musician and best guitarist in the world. He was the epitome of someone who had personality. It may not be a personality that resonated with everyone, but it certainly resonated with like millions of people, because to this day, people still remember him. You know what I mean? You gotta love characters like that. Yeah, that'd be great. That's what I thrive to be. To not give a fuck what people think or anything. Just go with it, man. But I'm not Kurt Cobain, man. Yeah.
How does someone find their purpose in life, man?
I don't know the answer to that, man. But I do know what you shouldn't be doing, and that's not conforming to a 9-to-5 job if that's not you. You know what I mean? I hate to say it. I don't mean to be. I wouldn't say political, but I don't mean to. But in Malaysia, you find it sometimes hard to meet creative people because the Malaysian way of life is you should have a 9-to-5 job, you should have a family, you should marry, and you should conform. It's very conformative ways. There isn't too much, and I know this from living overseas. There isn't. They don't really encourage you to express yourself, and expressing yourself through music or expressing yourself through video or something creative. That's not the way of life in Malaysia. The way of life in Malaysia, I'm not talking about everyone, I'm talking about the majority of people in Malaysia. The way of life should be quite safe. It's a safe way. And if you want to find your purpose in life, it's not to be safe. It's about being dangerous and taking risks and taking that leap of faith. You know what I mean? Because if you don't take that leap, I don't know if you regret it for the rest of your life, but you certainly think about it for the rest of your life. You know what I mean? So if you want to find your purpose in life, stop doing what you're doing right now and just do it. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
And how do you actually keep your mental health in check, man? Do you exercise, eat right? What's important, man? Like, not just for creative, for
Yeah.
anyone, any human being on planet Earth. Like,
I think I struggle with mental health in a few ways here and there. Yeah, I'm very neurotic. My girlfriend will probably tell you that as well. I'm very impatient. I get frustrated a lot, and I think that's a good thing. I don't see that as a bad thing. I'm a bit conscious about my health. I'm a bit conscious about the belly I have sometimes, although you may not see the belly, but there is a belly, I promise you that. So I force myself to be disciplined and go work out sometimes, although I don't look like I work out. It's about time management, man, and stuff. I couldn't tell you too much about mental health because I feel that's an issue that deserves to be talked about honestly, and I don't feel like I have enough knowledge or vocabulary to fully articulate on that topic. But I will say that, like anyone else, I do have anxiety. I do have insecurity. But it's just, I think everyone has to a certain degree, but it's just how you control it. And I don't know if I'm controlling it well, but I'll just say that I have it like everyone else. So
how does someone control it, though? Is it by creating more, expressing yourself more, or spending time with family and friends?
I don't know. It depends on the individual themselves. It's quite subjective. It could be that, spending time with more family, spending time around your support system, your friends. For me, I'm always busy. I always try to keep myself busy. Even if I'm not busy, I make sure I'm busy. You know what I mean? I never use the word I'm bored. I just keep doing something. You know what I mean? And that's become now a second nature to me because it used to be a job or a task or a burden, but now it's become second nature to me to do something creative and just keep creating in some way, shape, or form.
I'm about to ask you probably the darkest question in your life, or perhaps not. It depends on how you look at it, actually. Yeah. In your opinion, Ryan, why do you think someone commits suicide? Is that a sign of a mental disease, or is that a sign of someone quitting life because they're tired of life? Is it like a resignation, or is it a process of just moving on into another life? I don't want to sound morbid at all, but this is a real life issue.
Yeah.
Like people's perception of it is, they see it as a negative thing, right?
Yeah.
But do you think it's a negative thing, or perhaps it's like a call for attention? Or maybe they're just tired of life. I just want to resign. I just want to quit.
I relate to that question a lot more than you think because I had a sister that passed, and that was the reason of how she did it. You know what I mean? I honestly and genuinely don't know the answer to that question. I've been around suicide victims. I've had classmates, I've had friends who have as well. I won't tell you how, but they have, and for different reasons. It can be drug related. It can be I don't think it was bullying. I don't know the answer to those questions. You know what I mean? All I know is it's in some ways it's extremely selfish to do because you're leaving behind all these people that love you and care for you. You know what I mean? More than you probably realize at the time. So it's definitely a mental health issue of some sort. I don't know, except if you're ever going through something like that, the only thing you can do is have people around you. Never ever isolate yourself. You know what I mean? Always have people around you. That's why I'm lucky. I've since I was 18, since I was 12 years old, because I went to boarding school, I've always had large amounts of people around me. In every job I've had, arguably the latest one with Rocket Fuel, that's probably the job with the least amount of people that I work around with. But I would say always support yourself around people. You know, always have that support system, whether it be family or friends. And if you don't have someone, that's where perhaps it can drive you to that extent. And that's where, you know, it sounds so cliche, but you have to find someone to talk to, whether it be on a phone or a hotline or something. But to have just another presence around you, because that's where it becomes dark when you're by yourself. Do you know what I mean? And I don't know if my sister was in that place or not.
If you look at like Kurt Cobain, for example, you mentioned him minutes ago. Like he committed suicide, right? Maybe it's a conspiracy, maybe not, but that he did commit suicide and he actually quit life. You know, maybe life, maybe as they see life, they see life as a game. You know, like I had enough of this. Like I just want out.
Yeah.
No one else is giving me a way out. I tried to say that I want out, but you guys don't want to listen, so I'm out. Maybe it's that.
You know, happiness is such a subjective thing. People think fame or money brings happiness, but sometimes it doesn't. So people find happiness in different things. And Kurt Cobain had fame. He had money. He had success. But it wasn't enough for him because he didn't find happiness in it, evidently. That's what suicide is you haven't found happiness for whatever reason it is. And that's even more reason to pursue what you want to do in life, because it makes you happy. Don't ever do something you're not happy with. If you're a 9 to 5, if you don't like working at Rocketfield, Mylo, get the fuck out now, tomorrow. Tell Sanjit and Moose, I'm sorry, bro, but after my podcast with Ryan, I'm out. No, but
imagine that. That would be
no,
funny.
I honestly, seriously, pursue happiness, man, because that is the root of all problems in life. Is not doing what you want to do, whether it be something creative or not. And that's how you avoid suicide, is pursuing happiness, or at least trying to, and having people around you that can help you do so. So, yeah, that's my answer to that.
At the end of the day, we just have to actually, like you said, like work on the things that you want to do, right? Because it actually determines your happiness. But sometimes maybe like I don't know, Robin Williams and I don't know, the Linkin Park dude, Chester Bennington, they themselves, I think it's the overwhelming exposure, the lack of privacy. You know, imagine yourself like getting too much attention at once. Imagine like you're at a Justin Bieber of Malaysia, for example, like everyone is taking pictures of you. You just want to have a cup of coffee. Like right now we're having podcasts. No one actually gives a fuck. We're in this coffee shop, right? But imagine like everyone is just Insta storying us and like up close and all that. You might get a lot of anxiety and you're tired. You can't really be yourself. You're actually playing a character, all the time, right? Maybe that's the thing. Maybe that's the reason for the famous ones.
I don't know their reasons. You know, there was a time I was unhappy when I used to work for HITZ. Again, all full respect to HITZ. But there was a point in time, like, for example, when I was doing the morning crew, I wasn't doing what I wanted to do. You know, I wasn't making content that I wanted to do. And I was getting a lot of hate. You know, when you would take over JJ Ian, who are household names in radio, you're bound to get hate. I've had people call me an idiot. I don't know how to speak. I've had all sorts of abuse. I've had more abuse than a lot of people would imagine. Like, I can tell you the abuse that I've had, you know, I've had again, to go to that, I've had death threats before, and I wouldn't mind if it was content I was creating, because at that time it was content that I didn't like myself. That's the worst, man, because again, I'm pursuing something that it's not making me happy. So now at least I'm making content that I like doing, and if I get hate for that, so be it, because I think I'm happy, you know, and although I'm quite happy that I don't get hate at the moment for the content that I do, but I think that's down to me being happy with the content that I make. You know what I mean? So those famous people, those musicians, those critters that are getting that do what they did to that extent, I can't answer that question. I don't know why they did what they did, but I'm sure there was just an overwhelming amount of negativity that was going on in their lives that we don't know about, and that's when something negative is happening in your life. You just need to find ways to get rid of that negativity, I suppose.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, this is where I flip the script, man. This is where I flip the script.
Okay.
The script, no pun intended.
Okay.
You're a script writer, right?
Well, to a certain extent, yeah.
Yeah, this is where I flip the script and let you ask a question, man. Anything that goes through your mind. Hopefully, it's not about the podcast because I have been asked the same question.
Yeah.
Like, it can be anything that you are curious about, anything about me or not about me. Any question, random question that goes through your mind, top of your mind right now.
I just want to know, specifically, I wanted to ask you this question since we started. When are you going to give Harry Potter back his license? I'm kidding, of course.
Harry, you're a wizard, Harry.
No, I want to ask you what you want to do. Because I don't think the podcast is the only thing you want to do.
Yeah, man.
I know I'm lucky enough to know you outside of this, and I know you do a bit of video, and I know you delve a bit of everything. But what's your aspiration? What's the one thing you want to do? What's the best case scenario for you?
Not to actually finish the whole pie, but be part of the whole pie making process.
Yeah.
I'm inspired by you. I'm inspired by Harvin. And I know at some point I have something to contribute. Being behind the camera is not the end purpose. I'm actually doing it right now so that I can meet people like you. I can understand the whole mass Malay industry, which rocket fuel is handling.
Yeah.
And also being better, if not good, at video editing and video shooting and surrounded by people who are actually better than me, so that in 5 years' time I get a chance to be on the same boat as you. Because I think Malaysia, for example, the problem right now that we are facing as a creative is everyone is so selfish. Everyone is doing the thing that they want for themselves, for their own name. But if you can imagine, like you mentioned just now, David Dobrik, right? He has like tons of friends. Like imagine like we have like the 368 of Malaysia where everyone just come and just like be part of each other's content, each other's vlog, not just within your circle of friends, not just you and Harvin, for example, you, Harvin, and Ginny Boy, and another person across Singapore. Everyone just comes without worrying too much of the monetary sense, like more of the art, more of the content, more of the inspiration behind it. A lot like what Casey and New Yorkers are doing, like the whole group of them.
Yeah.
I know I can. It's actually obvious. Like Malaysia, we are somehow hitting that at some point, but I just hope that this might be that we are actually lucky enough to be part of it. Who knows? Like you might doing it right now, but in 5 years you might not be interested anymore. Or that's the case for me. I don't know. We can plan all this, but we might lose interest. Anything could happen. You might actually be, I don't know, a prime minister of, Ireland? Is that where you're from?
I'm half Irish, half Malaysian.
Yeah, so technically, I don't know, out of nowhere, you just end up there, doing something there, or maybe open up a coffee shop, I don't know where. Like, our interest changes, but I really hope that in 5 years' time, I get a chance to do what you do, or perhaps do it with you. 5 years is a long time, dude, but hopefully.
A lot can happen in 1 year, man.
Yeah.
So
it's crazy. Imagine YouTube in 5 years. I can't imagine, dude.
Yeah, for sure. It might be old school. You know what I mean? It might not. Maybe people will be more on Instagram. It's already happening a little bit. My biggest advice to you specifically is never ever go clean shaven again. Because I saw your other videos. You look good with the beard, the facial hair. Keep it at that.
How can people find you on social media, and how do you want the listeners to remember you, or the world to remember Ryan?
Matjeraie.
What does it mean, man?
Matjeraie?
Yeah.
Oh, it's like an Iban name apparently. People have thought it's like Polish or Russian or Eastern Europe or South African, but no, it's an Iban name.
Okay.
I'm half Iban, half Irish. Honestly, if I can inspire people to be original, that would be great. If I'm remembered as someone who inspires originality, that'd be great. Because all my heroes that I look up to, people like Jon Stewart, John Oliver, Sean McAuliffe, they're all people that that make me want to be me more than anything else because they're all true originals. If I can be in that same boat and create something that is so original that I was like, I never want to be a trend follower. That's why I don't do many parodies, or Harry Kok, the puppet that I write for, doesn't do many like trending stuff. He creates, because I want to be a trendsetter, not a follower. Do you know what I mean? So that's what I try to do. So that's what I'd like to be remembered for, I guess. Yeah, and just incredibly great in bed, and just kidding. That's it. Yeah.
Okay, the last question, bro. Are you ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be like the most simple question ever.
Okay. Oh, by the way, Instagram, of course, you can follow me, Ryan Matjeraie. What is the one thing that is threatening humanity right now? Arguably, some people would say it's global warming. Just inspire people to be more themselves. Okay, you know what the biggest thing that I think lacks sometimes is education. And education can come in many forms. It's not just in school. Traveling is an education, learning off one another. If people can learn something from me in 5 minutes and learn them that changes themselves for the better, that would be pretty amazing. That's all I got. It's 10:30 at night. It's all I got in my head right now.
10:30 at a coffee shop. Thank you so much, bro, for being part of Hello Hello Kopi Mylo podcast.
No worries, man.
You've been an inspiration, and I'm sure one day people will realize that how big of an inspiration, and they will see how hard you've worked to actually create what you've created so far, and perhaps in the future, time to come.
Thank you, man. Thanks for the kind words. How much do I get paid for being on the podcast? Well, live your dream. Then do me a favor and rewind and rewatch this whole entire podcast, or listen to this whole. I explained everything already. Okay. It's got so much advice in there. So rewatch it and rewind.
All right. Thank you so much, Ryan.
Hey, thank you, man. Appreciate
All right. Can you send my regards to Harry Kok, bro? So
You see him more than I do.
Oh yeah. Harry, how's the coffee, man?
Really good. Although I've had too much. I've had 4 coffees today. That's not normal. Not normal.
Hello Kopi Mylo podcast. Mylo Fico signing out.